In this video, we're going to discuss the MCQ questions of Class 12 CBSE board exam, all three sets, set 1, set 2, set 3. We'll get started in set 1. So B dash A are just A and B. So the order of A matrix is given, order of B matrix is asked. So let A matrix be M cross N. So A dash matrix will be N cross M. B matrix will be, let's assume it is P cross Q. So B dash matrix is going to be Q cross P. So if A, B dash is defined, which means A is M cross N and B dash is going to be Q cross P, which means N and Q are equal. Likewise, B dash A is defined, which means B dash is Q cross P, into A is M cross N. So here M is equal to P, the number of columns of the first matrix is equal to the number of rows of the second matrix. So M is equal to P and Q is equal to N. So the order of B matrix, which is P cross Q, is going to be M cross N. So that will be option D. Second question, the matrix given is a diagonal matrix. Is that in the options? No. Scalar matrix, definitely not, because you have different elements over the leading diagonal. So it is not a scalar matrix. It is not a symmetric matrix. Is it a symmetric matrix? Yes, it is, because even if you transpose this, it will become the same itself, right? So it's a symmetric matrix. It is not identity matrix. It is not scalar. It is not skew symmetric. For skew symmetric matrix, you need to have the leading diagonal elements to be 0. So the option will be C, second question, C subdivision. The following is a graph. Following graph is a combination of, so as we can see, it has X all angles and Y all angles again. So it's a combination of a trigonometric function and an inverse trigonometric function. So it looks like a sine graph. If you observe, it is a sine graph with the sine curve being 0, at x being equal to pi, at x being equal to 2 pi, and so on, and at 0 also. So one of the curves is definitely sine x graph. So do we have sine x in one of the options? We have sine x in these two options. So which means we can eliminate the first option and the second option. C and D, we have to evaluate whether it is sine inverse of x or cos inverse of x. So the one along the y-axis, we are going to evaluate this. So if y is equal, let's assume it is something like sine inverse of x, okay? Because I'm going to eliminate one option, which means I'm going to take C. If that is true, then that's the answer. If that's not true, D is going to be the answer. So I've taken C subdivision. For sure it is sine x. We have to check whether it is sine inverse of x. So if y is equal to sine inverse of x, now at, let's say y is equal to pi. Y is equal to pi. The x value is 0. The x value is 0. At this point, the coordinates are 0, pi. So if pi is equal to sine inverse of x, then x is equal to 0. So this is true. Y is equal to sine inverse of x is true. So the answer will be option C. So D option gets eliminated. Of two skew symmetric matrices of the same, so why not try out two skew symmetric matrices? So I'm going to take the two skew symmetric matrices as 0, 0, 0, and this will be A and this will be minus A. This will be B and this will be minus B. This is C and this is minus C. This will be minus C and this is 0. I'm taking another skew symmetric matrix. Let's call this a 0, 0, 0, and this will be P and this will be minus P. This will be minus Q. Let this be Q. Let this be minus R. Let this be R. So if you add these two, you will get a matrix which has its diagonal elements 0. and a plus b, this will be a plus b, and this will be minus a minus b. The next will be b minus q. Here you have q minus b. The next is c minus r. Next is r minus c. So you have the resulting matrix to be a skew symmetric matrix. So that it is option A. For secant inverse of minus root 2, so you will do this pi minus secant inverse of root 2 minus tan inverse of, so tan inverse of 1 by root 3, which is this answer is pi by 6, and this will be secant inverse of root 2 is what, pi by 4, pi minus pi by 4. So the LCM is going to be 12 pi minus 3 pi minus 2 pi. So the answer will be 12 pi minus 3 pi is 9 pi, 9 minus 2 is 7, 7 pi by 12. It is in the option. Oh, for this question, log-based property. We know that when limit extends to 0, sin x is approximated to x. Likewise, when limit extends to 0, log of 1 plus x can be approximated to just x. Or if it is limit extends to 0, log of, in place of x, if you replace it with ax, then this can be written as ax. So if it is log of 1 minus bx, limit extends to 0, then it becomes minus bx. So if we rewrite this question applying the limits at limit extends to 0 minus or b 0 plus, so the answer is going to be log of 1 plus ax. So the first term, this whole term becomes, I'm going to split the terms here, this divided by x and this divided by x, log 1 plus ax, or you can even do it the other way. So what you can do is you can write this as log of 1 plus ax can be written as what, ax approximated to ax minus bx. Ax is for this term and bx is for this term, so the whole divided by x. So this is equal to a minus b. So the answer is option C. Or what you can do is you can just write it as log of 1 plus ax divided by x to be a, log of 1 minus bx divided by x to be equal to minus b. If you add these two terms, you will get a minus b. So that's option. For 7th square minus y square, tan a is a constant. If you differentiate it, it becomes 0. If you differentiate x square, it becomes 2x minus 2y dy by dx. So it becomes 2y dy by dx is equal to 2x dy by dx is equal to x by y. So that's option A. For question 8, if y is equal to a cos log x plus b sin log x, so y1 is going to be minus a sin log x divided by x plus b cos log x, and if you differentiate the inner function, it becomes 1 by x. So this is y1. Or what you can do is you can take x to the left hand side, it becomes xy1 is equal to minus a sin log x plus b cos log, and y2 is equal to, you need to use u by v difference. So u dash u dash is the whole of this numerator, so it becomes minus a cos log x divided by x. So the x and x gets cancelled. It should rather be minus b sin divided by x, and that x again gets cancelled. So this whole term plus there is this another term. So we have just done the vu dash part minus uv dash. v dash is just 1. X, if you differentiate, it becomes just 1. So minus a sine log x plus b cos log x. So the whole divided by x square. So in this case, x square, we want that term, x square y2. X square y2 is equal to minus a cos log x minus sine log x plus a sine log x plus b cos log x. I'm going to add this whole x square y2 term and xy1 term. So xy1 term, as we can see, is minus a xy1 term is equal to minus a sine log x plus b cos log x. So if you add these two terms, you will get certain terms cancelled, which are minus a sine log x and plus a sine log x plus b cos log x. And I think the minus should have been for this term also. So it should have been minus b cos log x. So these two terms also get cancelled. You will be left with minus a cos log x. So the final answer will be, the required answer for that question will be minus of a cos log x plus b sine log x. So if you take the minus common, you will be left with minus of y. Is that the answer? Yes, minus of y. You just need a little bit of patience to solve this question, because you might get confused in the y2 part, which is the second derivative part. This is not really a 1 mark question. This question doesn't deserve a 1 mark for it, as in it should have been in 2 marks or 3 marks. But however, we can still solve this question and get the correct answer. For 9th question, you don't have to solve the graph of mod x. So the graph is going to be something like this, and it has its lowest value at x is equal to 0. So the answer is, oh wait, they're asking for incorrect statement. So this is a correct statement. So f has no maximum value, that's true. This is also true. F is continuous, the modulus function is always continuous. Modulus function is not differentiable, so it is, f is differentiable at x equals 0. That statement is false. F dash is given, we need to find f of x, and the like the values for x and y are given, which means we need to find the particular solution. So if you differentiate, so can we check from the options which one of these matches? So x cube, if you differentiate, it becomes 3x square, plus 3x square, if you differentiate, becomes, so these two are perfectly matching. So I mean, the first two terms are matching. Okay. Minus 4 by x cube. Okay, so 2 by x square, it becomes minus 4 by x cube. Okay, that's correct. So option C fails here, because if you differentiate this term, it becomes plus 4 by x cube. So option C fails. Option A and B now. So what we have to do is, we have to check whether x equal to 1 is y equal to 0. Okay. So if x is equal to 1, y, is it y equal to 0? So we have 1. So I'm going to go with option A. If option A fails, then option B becomes the answer. So if x is equal to 1, so 1 cube plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 11, that's a lot of pluses. So it is definitely not going to become 0. So option A fails. The answer is option B. So it's going to be what? 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5. All that adds up to 11. Minus 11 becomes 0. So the correct answer is option B. Oh, for this question, you have an e power x along with some term. So it should be of the form e power x into f of x plus f dash of x. So there is this x plus 5. So what I'm going to do is 6 minus 1 the whole divided by x plus 6 the whole square dx. So which is equal to x plus 6 divided by x plus 6, that becomes 1 divided by x plus 6 the whole power 1 minus 1 divided by x plus 6 the whole square. There is this e power. So which one acts like f of x and which one acts like f dash of x? If you take 1 by x plus 6 as the f of x term, this acts like the f dash of x. So the answer will be e power x into f of x. So the answer should be e power x times of 1 divided by x plus 6. So the option that also, if you have e power dy by dx, can we check whether if e power dy by dx can be eliminated using taking log? So if you retain this 2e power dy by dx, order and degree, both of them are asked. So I'm guessing it should be not defined, the degree should be not defined. So that is equal to minus y square plus d power 4 or d4 dx power 4. Okay. I think taking log will not work. If you take log, you will have log of differential terms. So the degree is not defined. You can narrow down on the other option has a degree of not defined. So the option B is the perfect answer. For this question, what you can do is they're asking for the solution, the general solution, all the terms contain C in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise both sides to the power of E. So E power log of dy by dx is equal to 3x plus 4y, and that becomes dy by dx. So E power 3x plus 4y. Dy by dx is equal to, so I'm going to use the power rule here. Power rule as in the rule of indices here. So e power x into e power 4y, e power 3x into e power 4y. So dy into e power minus 4y is equal to e power 3x times of dx. If you integrate these two, you will get e power minus 4y divided by minus 4, that is equal to e power 3x divided by 3 plus c. So we need to multiply it by 12. So multiplied by 12. So 12 times of, sorry, 3 times, minus 3 times of e power minus 4, e power. So this becomes minus 3 e power minus 4y. That's equal to 4 times of e power 3x plus 12c. Okay. So 4 e power 3x plus 3 e power minus 4y plus 12c. So the answer is option D. Option D matches. For question number 14, so z is equal to, the objective function is z is equal to x plus 2. We'll take the corner points and the objective function z is equal to x plus 2y. The corner points are 3 by 13, 24 by 13. If you substitute in z, you will get 3 by 13 plus 8 by 13, which is 51 for this point. This is point P. Point Q is 3 by 2, 15 by 4. So that will be 3 by 2 plus 15 by 2. Because 2 times of y is 2 times of 15 by 4, which is 15 by 2. 3 by 2 plus 15 by 2 becomes 18 by 2, which is 9. For point R, that's 7 by 2. So that is equal to 7 by 2 plus 2 times of 3 by 4, which is 3 by 2. 7 by 2 plus 3 by 2 is 5. And for point S, it is 18 by 7, 2 by 7. So if you take 1 by 7 common out, it becomes 18 plus 2 times of 2 is 4, 22. So it becomes 22 by 7. 2y is what? 4. 18 plus 4 is 22, 22 by 7. So which of these is minimum, or which of these is minimum at 18 by 7? So the value for this will be somewhere around 22 by 7 is what? 3.14. It's 5 value. 3.14. This is 5. This is okay. And this will be what? Close to 4. Close to 4. Very close to 4. So the least value is 18 by 7, comma 2. Next will be question number 15. There is no common region between the two inequalities. One inequality is shaded here, the other inequality is shaded downwards. So there is no common region between the two inequalities. So there is no solution at all. The solution exists is option C. For this question, lambda can be as small as 0. Lambda can be also -2, which means this is modulus of lambda. Remember, modulus is always a positive value. Modulus of a vector represents the length of the vector, and it cannot be negative. So straight away you can eliminate all of these options. Option B is gone, option D is gone, option C is gone. The only standing option becomes option A, but we are going to evaluate whether that is correct. So lambda A, modulus of lambda A vector, it can be 0 because lambda can also be 0 because it can be a null vector. The modulus of a null vector can be a minimum of 0, or it can be a maximum of modulus of -2 times of modulus of 5. So the answer can be 10. So the range of this can be 0. Since that option is not present, you can option A is the answer. But I'm guessing that the board will give marks for those who have attempted this question because the correct answer itself is not present. The area of the region bounded by the curve y square is equal to x. This is a parabola which faces rightwards. Y square is equal to x between x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. So they're asking the two areas together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find area 1 and I'm going to double it. So area 1 is equal to integration. It rests on the x-axis. So it should be, so area should be y, instead of y, we have to write it as root x dx between the limits 0 to 1. So a1 is this. So a1, I'm going to write it here. Okay. a1 is equal to x power 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2. So 0 to 1. So the answer for a1 will be, the area for a1 will be 2 by 3 units. But remember, it's twice of the area, so 2 times of a1. So the answer should be option D. That's the answer. 18th question. A box has 4 green, 8 blue, and 3 red pens. A student picks up a pen at random, checks its color, and replaces it. So there are 4 green, 8 blue, and 3 red pens. So there are a total of 4 plus 8, 12 plus 3, 15, 15 pens. The probability of red in one picking is 3 out of 15, which is 1 out of 5. And it is also mentioned that the pen is getting replaced. So which means that every time the student picks up the pen, the probability of a particular red pen, because the question asks, he repeats this process 3 times, right? The probability of red, I found it here. The probability that at least one pen picked was red. So every time the pen is picked, the probability remains 1 by 5 for red. So we need to find at least one pen which was, so probability of one red, at least one red. So that is equal to 1 minus probability of picking red none of the times. So that is equal to probability of not picking red the first time, probability of not picking red for the second time, probability of not picking red for the third time. So 1 minus probability of not picking red each time is 4 by 5 into 4 by 5 into 4 by 5. So 1 minus 64 divided by 125. So the answer should be 61 divided by 125. So the answer is option C. We have the relation between modulus of A cross B and modulus of A dot B. So A cross B whole square is what? A square B square sine square theta, and A dot B the whole square is equal to A square B square cos square theta. If you add these two terms, you will get A square into B square into sine square plus sine square plus cos square, which is 1. So that is given as 256. So A square is, we don't know, is it true though? A square is what? 4. A square is 4 and B square is 64. So that is equal to 256. So this assertion becomes true. Assertion is true so far. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. That's correct. And so which means the reason pretty much sums up whatever the assertion is trying to say. So whatever the reason is, it is correct. Okay, so the R is also true, the reason is also true, and R is the correct explanation for the assertion. So it should be option A for 19th question. Reason is the actual explanation for the assertion statement. F of x is e power x, g of x is log x, f plus g is equal to e power x plus log x. Okay, e power x plus log x, where domain of f plus g is real numbers. That doesn't work that way. That's because for log x, x can take only numbers after 0. So x does not take any real number. X cannot be 0. Negative numbers for any term involving log x. So the domain is not real numbers. So assertion statement is false. So automatically there's only one choice left, with A statement being false. So it should be the reason being true, and the reason is actually true. Domain of f plus g is domain of f intersection, the common domain, the common region between f and g. That's correct. So we have completed the MCQ for set 1. There are so many questions that get repeated in set 2 and set 3. We'll skip those questions when it comes to set 2 and set 3. We'll do those questions which are unique to those particular sets. We have done this already. Sum of two skew symmetric matrices is always a skew symmetric matrix. We've done that already. We'll skip that. This looks like a skew symmetric matrix. This is -3, this is 3, this is 8, and this is -8, this is 5, and this is -5. This is a skew symmetric. The graph shown below depicts. Now, the x-axis represents not angles, it actually represents values. The y-axis represents angles. So it should be an inverse trigonometric function. So if the options contain trigonometric functions, we can eliminate them. So it's between option B and option D now. Now I'm going to pause this point. So if y is equal to, so we have narrowed 4 options to 2 options now. I'm going to try this question. So y is equal to cot inverse of x. If y is equal to, this point is what? 0, 3 pi by 2. If y is equal to 3 pi by 2, then cot inverse of 0, is that true? So cot 3 pi by 2 is equal to 0. Is that true? Cos 3 pi by 2 by sine 3 pi by 2. Sorry. Cos 3 pi by 2 by sine 3 pi by 2. Sine 3 pi by 2 is anyway going to be -1. But what matters is cos 3 pi by 2 is it's actually 0. So this statement is true. X is true. This is false. Fourth question already, so I'm skipping that for now. But there's a small change in this question. In this case, they have mentioned it as n cross m, whereas in the previous set, was it n cross n or n cross m? Oh, it is n cross m. It is end up being It should have been N here and M here. N cross M. This should have been again N cross M. And M should be equal to Q. And N should have been equal to P. So the answer should have been P cross Q, which is N cross M. So option D is not the correct answer. It should have been N cross M. Okay, stand corrected. The answer should have been N cross M, not M cross N. Okay. So the answer is N cross M. We have done the question already. The answer is this. This question also we have already done. This question is also already done. This question, 8th question is already done. For this question, you know the graph. So which of the following statements is incorrect? So does it have a lowest point? Minimum does not exist is actually false. There is no point of maximum. It goes on and on both sides. There's no maximum value. That's true. B statement is true. C statement is true. D statement is also true. So only the first A statement is false. So 9th answer, option A is the correct answer. We have already done question 10. We have already done question 11. We have already done question 12. But no, we'll try it again. This question is different. This question 12 is different. Log of e square y by dx square. So since you have log of a differential term, degree is not defined, which means we can eliminate options A and B. The highest order of differentiation is it's 2. So the answer should have been order 2 and degree not defined. So once we eliminate 2 options, it becomes simple. Okay. This question is also done. So option A was question 13 is already done. Question 14. The area of the region bounded by the curve y square is equal to x between x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. We have done this question already. This question 15 is also already done. Question for 16 is already done. Question 17 is done. Question 18. Probability that at least one will go. So at least one, wherever you come across probability at least one, it is actually 1 minus probability of none. So that is equal to 1 minus probability of none will be 0.7 times of 0.6 times of 0.5. So that is equal to 1 minus 0.7 into 0.6 is 0.42. 0.5 is half of it. So 1 minus, so this is 0.7. This is 0.4. It should have been 0.4. So 0.7 to 0.8 is what? 0.28. 0.28 into 0.5 is 0.14. So 1 minus 0.14 is 0.86. But the options are all in fractions. So I'm making it in fraction. 86 divided by 100. So the answer should have been 43 by 50. So option B is the correct answer. 19 and question 20, we have already done that. We'll move on to set 3. Question 1 is already done. Question 2, it is not along the leading diagonal. So it should be what? Is it a skew symmetric matrix? So we can eliminate option A because the diagonal elements are not 0. It is not a scalar matrix. Is it a diagonal matrix? No, we go along the diagonal. Is it a square matrix? So for diagonal matrix, the element should be present along the leading diagonal, not the other way. So for square matrix, it is a square matrix. So the answer is option D. It's a tricky question. So people might be tricked into choosing C as the correct answer, but it is actually option D. For this question, so as you can see, the x-axis contains values and not angles. So once the x-axis contains values, you can figure out that it is an inverse trigonometric function. So you can straight away eliminate those trigonometric functions. So option B and option D are ruled out. I'm going to choose y equal to secant inverse of x. If it turns out to be false, then we can choose the other option C. So if y is equal to inverse of x, I'm going to choose x is equal to 1 and y becomes 0 because on x-axis y becomes 0. So this point is 1 comma 0. So if it is 0, secant inverse of 1, does it make it 1? Okay. So what about secant 0? Secant 0, is it 1? Cos 0 is 1. Secant 0 is also 1. So option A is actually true. Okay. Which means option C is already eliminated. Question 4 we have already done. Question 5 is already done. I made a correction in the very first question that we did. You please go and check that. Okay. Question 6 is already done, skew symmetric matrix. Question 7 is already done. Question 8 is also already done. Question 9, it has a critical point at. So what you can do is y is equal to x power x, take log on both sides and bring the x from the power to down. So it becomes x log x. So if you differentiate on both sides, it becomes 1 by y dy by dx is equal to u b dash plus b u dash, and dy by dx is equal to y times of 1 plus log x, that is equal to 0. So y is x power x. It cannot be 0. X power x cannot be 0. So 1 plus log x has to be 0. So any number, any exponential term can never become 0. So it has to be only the other terms can become 0. So log x has to be minus 1. If log x is minus 1, it has to be log of e power minus 1, which is minus 1. So the answer is x has to be e power minus 1. So the answer is option B. Question 10 is already done. Question 11 is also already done. Question 12, the degree of the order and degree of the equation. So if you square on both sides, it becomes d square y by dx square the whole square minus 2 times of d square y by dx square plus 1, that is equal to dy by dx. So the order is going to be 2 and the degree is also 2. So option A is the correct answer for this question. Okay. Question 13 is also already done. Question 14 is already done. The solution does not exist for question 14. Question 15 is also already done. Question 16 is already done. Question 17 is already done. Question 18, the probability of the meeting being cancelled. Okay. So a meeting will be held only if all 3 members A, B, and C are present, which means even if one person is not present, even if A or B or C is not present, the meeting will be cancelled. Okay, so the meeting is held only if and only if all 3 are present. The probability that member A does not turn up is 0.10. The probability that member B does not turn up is 0.2. C does not turn up is 0.05. The probability of the meeting being cancelled. So it has to be. So when does the meeting get cancelled? When at least one person does not turn up. Correct. So the probability, the probability that you have to find out is probability that does not turn up. It's where probability of nobody doesn't turn up. So we know that probability of at least one, okay, that is equal to 1 minus probability of nobody. Okay, so at least one doesn't turn up. The probability of nobody or no one, or it should be the other way around. Okay. It is the case where 1 minus probability of the case where everybody turns up. The probability of 1 minus probability of everybody is present. Okay. So how do you find that? So what is the probability of A being present? What is given is A does not turn up. What is the probability of A being present? So what I'm writing here is present. Okay. So that will be the complement of this, which is 0.9. Probability of B being present is the complement of 0.20, which is 0.8. Probability of C being present, which is 0.95. So probability of everybody being present is the product of all three. So it has to be 1 minus zero point 0.9 times 0.8 times 0.95. So the answer will be 1 minus 0.72 times of 0.95. So we have to calculate that. 95 into 7. 5s are 360, so 36 carried over. 72 nines are 648 plus 36. That is equal to 684. So that will be what? 0.6840. 1 minus 0.6840. So if you subtract it, so you get what? Okay, so we have this answer. So 316.316. That is the correct answer. Question 19 is already done and question 20 is also already done. So we have discussed the MCQ questions. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section.